Good morning. Got some cool stuff going on today. Going to continue on with our character and have a bit of fun with it. And yeah, just talk things through, how things are tracking, and what I need to do to get to where I need to be by December. For those who are just joining today for the first time, thank you for joining. This is a live stream all about filmmaking in 3D, characters, animation, you name it. And today I'm going to be doing some character work. But I just wanted to say thank you again for joining. Yeah. So let's move on. Okay. So if you're wondering what this is, hey, how you doing, Dicker? Dicker Henry D. Thank you for joining. Um, yeah. If you're wondering why this is up, it's because I had to re-render it. There's a flash frame in the bloody animation that I didn't realize of like a missing footage, which is horrible. How's it going? Ah, cheers. Thanks for joining. Um, but yeah, I'm doing the chat. I'm doing the updated video. It's not going to be re-uploaded to YouTube on my channel, but I might make it a dedicated channel for it. This film has been accepted into a short film festival, I guess you can say, if you're going to call it that, but also a CG conference. So it's called SIGGRAPH, and it's one of the largest conferences in the world on 3D animation, and it's been accepted as part of their animation showcase. So that will be showing um, in Sydney in December, which is awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, more news on that later. But today we're going to continue on with our little punk guy, and then move on. So, um, where was I? Dealer 04 or 05. I think it was 04. No, this one, nah, that's the old one. It definitely is 05 or 06. Yeah, super cool, huh? I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to it too. Um, did I have 06? I did have 06. There we go. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I'm super keen for that. I can't wait to go if I can. I hope I can go. But yeah, here we are. We got this character up and running. The only thing we need to do is retopo this guy. So he wants to see some retopo. Now I could go ahead and just cheat it. Let's see what happens and see with this and see what happens. Let's go with that and push it. The remesh button. Just see how this is going to come along. And not bad at all. The cool thing about this is that it actually got the chest really nicely with the remesh, but it's a bit dense, in my opinion, for what I want it to be. So I might bring it down. I'd bring it down. Let's sort of have a look at the hands. I'm really curious about the hands, how they come together. Yeah, so you can see here that like it's actually not bad, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, so it's actually not too bad at all. The only thing you really want to watch out for is whether or not the spiral's going up the arm, and there doesn't seem to be, which is also interesting. It's also very interesting, to be honest. So I'm actually quite impressed with this. um, let's see here. Let's see what. Ah, there we go. There's our little. There's our issues. There's our issues. There we go. So the fingers aren't ideal, at least here, up until this point here, and then it goes all haywire. So we will do a proper retopo, but I do like this idea of like the way that redirects up there. It's kind of cool. That's really cool, actually. Um, but yeah, let's do it properly and see if we can get a better job than this. I also want to make these more defined, I guess you can say. Like, I might actually isolate certain regions of the arm as well to get it what I want it to do. This is really cool. I don't mind this, but it's interesting to see how it's redirecting around the body. But yeah, pretty cool, and pretty cool result as well, I think. Um, but yeah, if I don't like what I do today with my own retopper, I'll just I'll do that. I'll just do the the character as seen. But yeah, we're gonna do some retopo today. Do it properly. I'm not gonna do the full face. I'll do some parts, and I'll like sort of prepare for the future, if that makes sense. But I think apart from that, yeah, I'm just gonna be focusing on that entirely. And I want to keep it in line in terms of density to the feet and the rest of the body. So I don't want to make it too crazy dense. But the nice thing about this whole process is that I'm not going to be as picky overall because I actually want to, if it makes sense, I want to not rely on subdivision modifiers to do the majority of this animation. I want to keep it really light and really like sort of sharp. And the subdivisions, I find that they tend to soften things out a little bit too much for my liking. So I'm going to try and do some isolation loops to get this to look really cool. So we'll see how we go. All right, let's make a new cube or a new plane. Place that there. I'm going to auto mirror that straight away. So I have that side done. I'm going to switch over to in the overlay retopo. There's an option for turning on retopo. So like a light version of X-ray. I'm going to be in edit mode first. So you see this retopology? It's kind of nice because it just lets you focus on doing your retopo without really needing to worry too much about turning on other features. Fun. It is fun. It is fun. When you do it, when you get used into the groove of it, it is fun. So I'm gonna go face project. I can also do face nearest as well. Rotate, project individual elements. Turn that on. I think we're good. All right, save. All right, let's bring that all the way up there, all the way up to the lip. And this goes up there. So I'm just snapping it with face snapping. There we go. Awesome. So you're going to keep it really clean, really simple. And I might start with the nose. Why not? And we're going to do some loops, some basic loops. So one loop will go around the mouth. And again, I've finished recording the all the raw footage for my next tutorial series on retopo and sculpting and everything, character design. So I'm going to be editing the shit out of that today. Also got some really cool products coming in for review. So if you're interested in that, stick around get subscribed and yeah, keep up to date with that because they're really cool products. I think they're going to be really interesting to talk about. So I got a new version of this coming, came in the mail yesterday. So I'm going to be doing a review on that. And then I've also got a review on a 3D scanner, which is also going to be really cool. And also a smaller tablet for just portability tablet. So yeah, if you guys are interested in those sort of things, they're going to be some really cool stuff. Yeah, updated retopo vids. Yeah, this one's going to be like, unlike the no sculpt videos, they're actually going to be designed specifically for sculpting in mind. So you're going to be there'll be a full sculpt involved, and then retopo and UV unwrapping, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's my first loop. Here's my second loop here, going this way, up the nose, like so. Gonna get that loop going through the cheek. And then up around the head. Let's see if I can retopo this guy completely within the 2 hours, huh? What do you reckon? What do you think I can do? All right, cool. Hope everyone's doing well, by the way. If anyone's got any questions, let me know. Let me know, of course, and ping me. I've got both windows open for Twitch and YouTube open as well. So if you want to say hello on Twitch, feel free. Although it's kind of a dead zone over there, which is so hard to deal with, to get traction. All right, cool. So there's our first couple of loops, which is really cool. I'm going to do another loop going over the nose. So this one here. Actually, I might keep this one as a loop for the eyes as well. Yeah, for sure. It's still relevant, but I will be updating it once 4.0 comes out. So there'll be some big changes with 4.0 in terms of just UI and stuff like that I want to sort of clarify going into the new versions of Blender. So I'll be probably doing a brand new complete series for rigging as well. But yeah, it's still applicable. Yeah, for sure. You can still make amazing rigs with those tutorials that are worth using for animation. Oh, thanks, Daniel. How long does the low poly need to have? That one's, I always get that question, and the answer is it just really depends on your needs. Oh, there's a stray face there. Yeah, honestly, it's really dependent on your circumstances and what you need for the animation. So low poly this could be low poly, technically. Or if you need to go even lower, yeah, even worse. So it really does depend. And I can't give you the straight answer for that one, unfortunately. It really depends on your project needs. Do you put your meat on before the cheese or after the sandwich? Good question. Cheese first, then meat. I do. No, wait. Meat first, then cheese. The reason being is because I used to work at Subway, and that's how they used to do it. And now I haven't changed that ever since I worked there. So meat first, cheese second, if I recall. Yeah, you put the meat on top, on the bottom. That way the cheese can melt properly. So that's how I roll. And if a multi-billion-dollar franchise that's how they do it, and that's successful, then that's the way I'm gonna do it too. All right, cool. So this is already coming along pretty good. As a retopo, you can see here that I'm just following the contours of the face, and it doesn't take much to get it done. The only correct answer. There you go. 150k is plenty of polygons for yeah. I mean, that's it, right? So 150k tries is pretty big. There goes a cat. Yes. So it really, again, this really depends on what you need for your animation. All right, cool. Let's get this loop going. Now I could do an isolation loop for the eyebrows as well, but I'm not going to bother because again, his face isn't going to show in this animation. So I'm not going to go too crazy with detail. Honestly, should I get a cat counter on my stream? A cat meow counter? What do you guys think? I like sci-fi. I'm not a big fan of. Well, I am a fan, but I'm not a huge fan of fantasy. Just give me a second. I just gotta grab something. Baby's sleeping, so I need to use this. This is my other monitor. The most important monitor in my desk is this thing. Gotta make sure she's sleeping good and the cat doesn't wake her up. All right, cool. Yeah. So in terms of my favorite genres, that's really the thing. I love sci-fi. That's why I make these sci-fi sort of stories. I find it really freeing. compared to other subgenres because you aren't constrained by certain rules. You can make your rules up pretty easily. And even within fantasy, I feel that there's certain rules that you can't really break, if that makes sense. And people get pissed off if you break them too, which is crazy. All right, cool. So this is a very, at this point in time, this is a very low poly setup. And you could actually get away with a rig this low poly, I reckon. And I'm probably going to keep it that low as well going forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that's all right. Let's see. So I'm just counting the loops. Let's do an extrusion. Go in. This will be like the main area for my eyes. So if that's a corner, and that's a corner, how many loops do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. That's perfect. And then on this side, 1, 2, 3. This one's a bit off. Yeah, so I'll add another loop there. So I can add a loop either on the lip, which is probably wise. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Perfect. If you're wondering why I'm counting that, is because I like to keep my top and bottom of the mouth even. Okay, the cat is going insane. So what do you think? Cat counter on the live stream? What do you think? Yeah, it's always fun to do it as well. I'm wondering whether or not I should get the latest, like re-download. Oh, I probably won't. We'll see. If I have time, I'll play it because I'm not. I tried playing through Starfield and I haven't scratched the surface there. Hold on, let me get the cat. Let me get the cat. Come on, over here. Come on. I think my cats are becoming unofficial mascots of this channel because he's being a little prick again. Hello, there you go. This guy. Always this guy. He's always the culprit. Always a culprit. All right, go sit over here. Yep, I reckon the cat counter is going to come up. Let me get that sorted today if I can, and I'll set up a prompt. All right, cool. So I'm also going to add some lips here, and this will become the eyelids. This is actually coming up really nicely as a topology reference as well. So I might actually include this as part of an example for my next series, which is going to be really cool. So as you can see here, I'm going to talk about this just briefly. 1, 2, 3, 4, corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, corner. So having this nice symmetrical verticality to your retopo is really important in my opinion because it makes riggings that much easier. Super, super easy. So yeah, this is actually coming up really nicely as a retopo example. So yeah, let's quickly just add a few more lips there and there. Thank you, thank you. And then we'll bring this down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, corner. And I'll add one more loop here just to give some structure to the nose in the future. And one more loop here. So 6 on 6 again, same as the eyes. So what I always find is that just by coincidence when I'm doing my retopo, is that the amount of loops for the mouth when you combine it with the other side is always double the amount of loops on the eyes for some reason. Probably because of the size of it all. Obviously because it's the symmetry of it all and the doubling up on each side. But yeah, I just find it interesting that it does tend to do that. Yeah. It's just my habit. Like literally like I follow the same methodology as what I preach, basically. So there's no shortcuts here. And that's coming up pretty good. Look at that. Let's have a look. Boom. That's really cool, huh? I can turn on random colors as well. And you can see what's going on in the front. If I set this to front, or just turn on the retopo, you can see here that we can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. The only problem is that this color of the mesh is it's the wrong color, so I might just go back to non-random material. That makes it a bit easier to look at. All right, cool. So now we got this going on. I can easily go ahead and do the rest of the face. 1, 2. And I'm going to go all the way down to the jawline here before I start to extrude again. 1, 2. And I start to work it out. I think the proportions there, it might be because of the pans. But yeah, I've had that comment a few times actually. Do you hear the chaos of the cat? It's completely tweaking at the moment. All right, cool. That goes up there. That goes up there. Join that, join that, join that, join that. And then I'll join this and this. Grab this. And then I can do a grid fill here. Oops. And then there we go. So yeah, coming up pretty good. Now, I'm only doing this for your benefit. I didn't have to do this at all. But even if I wanted to say change the way that I intend on rendering the eyes, I might actually have glass eyes to see through to the eyes in the character. So that could also be of a benefit. So we'll see. Nah, no special add-ons here. It's all just grit. The only thing I would use for Retopo, if I had a shorter deadline for this sort of stuff, is the the quad remesh plugin, which is about $200 if you pay for it outright. That's the only thing. That's the only plugin I've paid that much money for Blender, honestly, and it's actually worth it in my opinion. But that's the only one I would use. But I wouldn't use it for characters all that much. I would use it for like general things like ears and maybe parts of the body that like I would just be too lazy to fix. But for faces, nah, I'd just do it manually. No plugins. And apart from that, the F2 plugin, the F2 add-on for Blender that's already included, does a pretty good job of like making my life easier. Because I don't even use the poly builder tool. I find it too clunky, so I prefer just to manually do it all. Okay, so let's do some extrusions here. Let's start linking some stuff up. 1, 2, 3. So boom, boom, boom. That's good. This is actually going to be a very decent little remesh, I think. Yeah, cool. All right. So what I would do if I wanted to make the... Yeah, I'm going to do this. To make the cheeks more prominent, I'm going to bring these up like so. I did this in a similar thing with a previous live stream where I was just doing character work for fun. Nah, it's not. It's really useful. Using a pen for 3D is actually really useful. Really useful indeed. Sorry, I'm just going to try and get this. I'm not sure why the chat box is not popping up, but sorry if it's not popping up for you guys. Oh, hey, and also Comic Sans, welcome to the stream yet again. On the menu, Retopo, and getting this guy ready for texturing. So I got some big cool stuff to show you tomorrow when I'm going to do texturing this character, because I really want to get this character ready for texturing. Because I got a brand new tablet coming to use, and I want to showcase the tablet while I do my thing. It's gonna be really fun. Cool. So firstly, let's just get this sorted. So for here, let's just do a loop. Loop, loop, loop. Yeah, this will work fine. What I will need to do is, I'll do this. And yes, this will work, as you'd expect. And then bring this over here. I wouldn't say I'm that good. This is just practice. You know, just doing it for, you know, as you just get better at it as you practice. Now, you can see how there's so-called conundrum I'm trying to face here of what to do with this quad, which isn't a bad thing to do that, but I think I can do this instead. Separate this like that. Remove this this edge, and then have this nice clean loop going all the way around. That looks really nice. Quite good. Quite cool. That'd be perfect for what I need. So all I'm gonna do now is straighten up these quads, even them out a little bit. And now stretching a little bit, but that's fine. Good morning, Bookie. All right, cool. So what I want to do here, I kind of want to get a cool little, like really get that cheekbone in there. So what I would need to do is actually create a definable loop that kind of goes like that. That and up and around. So what I'm going to do is actually do an extrusion of this with an I for inset, push B to get rid of that little line there. And then I'll clean this part up here. So now we've got this weird loop here that I don't need. So I'm gonna get rid of that loop. And I'll clean it up. So what I'm gonna do is delete those faces. And I'll probably just re-merge these ones. But yeah, now I've got this cool little loop that I can actually define the cheekbone with, which is really cool. And this is what it's all about when it comes to Retopo, is understanding what your goals are for your characters. So everyone says, oh, what's the perfect way to do it? And the answer is that there isn't any perfect way of doing it. It's just whatever you need for the job to get what you want. So I'll be talking a lot about that in my next few videos. Polyquilt is a free plugin for Retopo. Let's look it up. Is it like a does it just help you to retopo, or does it actually do it all for you? I'll look it up without the sound. Just gonna have a look. Oh, it's just a way. Okay, I see. It's like a tool set to help you do things quicker. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries, Nightcal. Thanks for joining anyway. If you're wondering why the time of the stream has changed, by the way, if you're overseas, it's because daylight savings has started in Australia. So we moved forward an hour. So if you found that, like, for some reason, why is you on like an hour later? It's because of that. Have I ever experienced? Yeah, I did actually with my previous short film. That was tricky because there's limitations with what I could do with the time frame I had for the film to be done. So and also like I found that I wanted to do nebulas and stuff as the planet zoomed away at the end of the film, but it was too intensive on the rendering, and it was I found it to be quite what's the word? Like it didn't have the effect I wanted it to have. So I turfed it. But I will want to do more as I do more sci-fi stuff for sure. So I'll be experimenting more with that in the future. So you can see here that now what I can do with this loop, say if I did want to subdivide this, you got this really nice curvature now, and I can actually go ahead and create basically this really harsh. I might do a sharp edge there as well, mark sharp. Really harsh sort of cool jawline thing, and it will go in line with my it'll go well with my aesthetic, if you want to call it that, with my film. That's really cool. Yeah, I know it's weird. I'm not sure. I still don't understand the whole purpose of daylight savings, honestly. All right, cool. So we're doing pretty good, all things considered. It's only 43. I reckon I can get a large chunk of the rest done today. Maybe the hands might need some work, but yeah. So for now, what I'm going to do is focus on just getting the rest of the head done up, not including the ears. And I'll ignore the nose for now, but I'll focus more on the chest and the body because I want to really focus on getting that done. All right. I don't think it's for farmers, honestly. I think it's just more for the population to not feel like shit in winter. So I don't know, but in Australia they shorten the days in winter, so it gets shorter. So I don't know, man. It could be an energy conservation thing. SyncNix. No, I haven't heard of that one. Does it utilize what does it utilize? Does it just use a webcam, or does it just use the or does it use the iPhone? That's interesting. I have to check it out. Is it good? Okay. Let's see. Is it fast? Okay, that's pretty sick. I think I might have to look into that SyncNix plugin because that looks pretty cool. Uh, yeah, that could save some time as well. But again, this animation is not going to have any actual physical mouths showing. So yeah, for another animation, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. All right, cool. Let's just move into this. This can go around to the back. Now, just keep in mind that if you're doing a film that doesn't feature faces, you do not have to do this, all right? This is purely for your benefit to check it out. And for whatever reason, I may end up using this in the future. This is more like future proofing on my part. But apart from that, it's not meant to be done. Okay, you're not meant to be doing a fully animation ready face if you're going to cover it with a mask. All right, keep that in mind. Oh yeah, for sure. Of course, I'll be giving Eevee a go because I rendered my films with Eevee. So yeah, definitely. That's definitely on the priority list. Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So I'm going to link up this jawline now to clean up that. Nice and clean. There we go. Awesome. All right, let's split this up. Oops, wrong way. Split this up this way. But yeah, if you're wondering why I still retopo this way, it's because I find it faster. Faster than using a plugin or making sure the plugin's installed and stuff. And the result is usually better, honestly. It's usually better. And you can see I've got a pretty low poly thing going on here. So ooh, I don't want that. Oh wait, that's going this way. Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, so the result is usually a lot nicer as well, which is also good. Now, if you're wondering what I can do here to add some more geometry, I would probably end up doing a triangle there on the jaw and then adding more. Thank you for the follow on Twitch, Kilo Bitten. Appreciate it. And also, thank you for the raid, Draco Fox. Sorry, I wasn't getting the right notifications here. Also, thank you, Alexander Draco, as well. Appreciate the questions. Rated and left me behind. That's all right. But yeah, I've got the windows open. I'm trying to manage both. What I don't see the point in Retopo. I never had tries. Yeah, well, it depends on what you need. Okay, if you're doing like if you're doing a lot of just straight up renderers that don't really need animation, then you probably don't need a Retopo or anything, especially if you're doing a lot of architecture stuff. All right, cool. I think that'll do for now. As you can see, it's very low poly around the neck, so it'll be fine. I might end up adding, instead of this traveling this way, actually this is a better option. Instead of just traveling up there, this will come down the neck like this. Because what I'll end up doing is probably adding another loop here and there for the lip, because I'll need that for the structure of the nose anyway, so that will come in handy. And then we can do an extrusion down like this into the neck, and that will give me what I need. Like so. Now the plan for the neck will be to probably take this face. Wait, there we go, cat counter. There he goes again. What we'll probably do for these is have the neck muscle merge with the bottom of the clavicle. That is a loud cat, right? Chicken noises, yeah, go for it. You mean to make cat noises, that's for sure, not chicken noises. There we go. If you're making a stormtrooper animations, faces, yeah, exactly right. Faces wouldn't matter. So you just do hard surface models and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly right. Oh, thank you, Mary Ann. I will be making more videos. They'll be coming out soon. I know. Relax. I know. Over here. Sorry. I know. Making sure the baby's not stirring from all that meowing. All right, cool. Let's get this going all the way in. And what I plan on doing is sort of, yeah, merging it down here. And this can go up like this. And we'll get that shape in there as well. So this will give us the structure we need to get this going here. Hello, come on, over here. There we go. All right. He wants to go into the bedroom and he's not allowed in the bedroom. That's why he's meowing. He's just being annoying for that reason. All right, cool. Yeah, I know, right? That's the crazy part about these bloody cats. Yeah, that's the same with our cat. At the middle of the night, in around 4 a.m., he'll start meowing for no reason, just because he wants a scratch, and he sounds really shrill and really loud. Okay, there we go. One more cat view. There we go. Say hello to the internet cat. There we go. Arno. There we go. Relax now. How do I solve the net part? I have a shit ton of loops coming out of my face area having problems. Generally speaking, you can redirect them either down through the, like through the back of the head, like I've got here, or you create a loop that kind of isolates the neck from the body, like that. All right, cool. Let's grab that. All right, cool. There we go. And this is how if I had loops coming down, say through the neck, through the face, I could probably do an isolation that would isolate the loop to only go like that around, and it won't go through the rest of the body. That's usually how I would go about it. Yeah. All right, cool. So we got that going on there. And I'm just going to move this loop a little bit to the right. So turning off my snapping. I really don't like the way that Blender changed the way snapping works with, I think it's 3.2. It's like, it doesn't feel as good on the face selection, like face project. Doesn't feel as good. Yeah. So nearest face is what I'll do. See if that actually works. It's much more finicky. All right, cool. That's looking pretty good. Yes, Orange Cat. He is the worst when it comes to he's like the definition of yeah, he's like the definition of the term orange cat. He's ridiculous. All right, cool. So now see how we have these sort of regions here for the shoulders and the clav. What I plan on doing is another sort of loop, if that makes sense, where I will isolate those sort of shapes. Yeah, exactly right. Make the neck on the body good and then shrink wrap. Yeah, that's how you can do that as well. It also depends on whether or not the head needs to be connected to the body at all. So if you have clothing that like terminates at the shoulders or at the base of the neck, you can probably get away with not connecting the head to the body, for instance. Actually, I might give this a bit more room to breathe for the ear. There we go. So what I will do here is I'm just going to do a loop here, and that will become what I need for the ear once I extrude that out. Although trying this face nearest is actually not too bad either, so it could work as well. Anna, come here. There we go. He is so loud. Anyway, hey, relax, man. Jesus. All right, there we go. Linking those up. And now we're just going to go ahead and add a loop here. The cat always demands attention. Doesn't matter how much you give it to him, he'll always want more. That's how he rolls. All right, cool. There we go. That's looking good now. Oh, he does that a lot. He does interrupt a lot. Yeah, it's the same, man. It's the same. Always the same. Is there a way to trigger an alert box by sound to have the cat just like whenever he yells, if the mic picks it up, it's just straight up, just brings it up. See, now he's trying to get into a bag. I know he should do the retopo for me. He caused all kinds of trouble anyway. He may as well do something useful for me. So yeah, this is why live streams exist, so I can like talk things through, but also just get interrupted all the time. So this is also why I do proper recorded videos, mind you, instead of these sort of videos. That'd be very useful, honestly. All right, cool. So getting some good, doing some good gains here. So let's go ahead and fill these up. Oh, not enough loops at the back. So I'm going to add another loop here, loop here. There we go. And we're getting some nice shapes now. Fill that up. And now we're on the right track now. So this is where I'd probably do a redirect at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and just quickly add a little bit. Now I could add this loop to go all the way down here. So I might actually do that here. 1, 2, 3, just to give it a bit more structure. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're pretty lucky with our cats. They're both boys, but they've never had this, they've never done the whole spray thing, but they've been fixed as well. So that's probably why. But I have heard of cats still doing that even after they've been spayed. All right, cool. One, two, and boom, boom. 3. There we go. Cool. So we're doing really good stuff. Hello, Utkarsh or Utkarsh. Thank you for joining. It sucks about your kitty though. On Kitty 10, Kilo Bitten. Sorry. Yeah, it's always good to have those memories. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth those out. All right, cool. So we got this going on. So let's have a look at see what the result is. And you can see it's looking really not bad. I'm actually really cool. I'm really happy with that result. That's looking really effective. And I think when it comes to animation, it's going to look really good. So really keen on that. Oops. Let's just turn on my retopo, vert. Let's hide away. Let's just hide away these parts actually into its own thing. Mask. That's a bit easier to select now. So I also want to hide these off as well. Put them into clothes. And I can hide that off as well. And still focus on my retopo. All right, cool. So here comes the tricky part, is isolating all these different parts. So the first thing I'm going to do is really just bring this down all the way down here. So I know that my contouring will work. So I'm going to contour the chest first and isolate those regions first. And this is going to go all the way around the shoulders as well, this loop. This loop is going to go all the way around the shoulders. All right. All the way around like so. Because that will allow me to get that nice isolation in the shoulders as well. Now, I'm not really counting my faces right now because I don't really care. And again, it depends on your needs as an artist, whether or not you need to care about those sort of things. But for me, I don't really care because it's not going to be in a game engine. I'm not looking for like ultra performance here as well. And it will perform just fine with how I do things. So there we go. Then wrap that all the way around the back like so. There we go. Thank you for the subscription on YouTube, Bajra. Bajra. I'm not sure if he's online, but if he is, thank you. Or they are. I'm going to get a loop going up this way as well, up around the shoulders. And I do this in my latest videos as well. I'll be doing this method here where I figure out the core loops first. All right, cool. There's one loop there. This is going to go under the shoulder, on the armpit. Like so. And link that up. Boom. Great. Now, eventually, this will actually turn into a proper arm as well. So there'll be a few loops that go underneath the arm. Do you think that someone will make AI? Yeah, you fucking hope so. That there'd be AI software for Retopo. I really do hope so. um, Otherwise, I'd be spewing. I'd rather be able to just push a button and have it Retopo properly with the right loops where they need to be. But there hasn't been one that has been made yet that is as effective as you'd want it to be. So yeah, that's the other thing. Is yeah, definitely would hope so. All right. Which is better for rigging, A pose or T pose? Especially considering I prefer A pose. I do prefer the A pose because not just for deformation, but for order of rotation and gimbal lock. Having a character in A pose will reduce your likelihood of encountering extreme posing issues in terms of gimbal lock. I found that the hard way, I guess you can say, through my own work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and try and create a loop for the clavicle here because it's so distinctive. So this will go up like this and then connect here. And I'm going to add a loop, another face there. I'm going to add some, I'm going to try and keep it symmetrical with this as well. Like so. This will go up like that. And, this could be cool. I will probably just do this, where I just link that up. Yeah, that's going to work well. And then create my quad. And yeah, that works well. That works well. I could terminate that like that as well here, and that's all I would need. Let's see how that looks. But it runs the risk of not being able to add extra loops, but that's all right. Let's keep it simple. And I can just fix this up by just merging those. And you can see here, now we've got that nice clavicle going on there. And if I subdivide that, you can start to see the result of that. You can start to feel that there. The only thing I don't like about that is that I can't really add more geometry to increase the the density of that. So I probably will bevel that a little bit actually. Merge, fill that in, fill that. And then with this loop here, I'm gonna just do a little bevel, cheeky bevel. Let's see how that works. Yeah, we'll see. Have I tried Cazador? I've been wanting to try it for ages. I had the beta back in the day, but I never got around to doing it. I really want to try it out. I probably will for this though. I'm gonna give it a go for this. Oh, thanks for the compliment on the style. Kilobyte, kilobitten. Wonder how many older 3D games often use T-pose as default. Well, a lot of places still use T-poses, partly because it's easier to do mocap for, and a lot of mocap rigs, or most mocap rigs, are default to T-pose because of the ability to isolate the pose from for the camera work. So there's that reason. So there's a bunch of reasons why you go a certain way. Oh, quad remesh is a lifesaver. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do here, I might just do an insert here. Insert that first. Actually, that will work well. Yeah, that gives me the geometry I need. So I can just do a little recentering there. And there we go. Now we've got plenty of geometry there to work with, and that's becoming a lot more distinct. All right, cool. So here we can go ahead and just merge these like so. And then this, let's see, this will come up like that and help get that dip in there. So what I'm going to do is get that dip into that. Now this is not the most obvious retopo. Depends on what you need. All right, it will still deform fine though, I think. All right, so we got this going on, and I want to create a loop here. So I'm going to extrude inwards to get that going on there. And how many loops does this have? Let's check out the overlay. Let's turn on extra information, statistics. 11 edges. So I can probably get away with adding one down here. Let's just do one add there, and then we can probably get away with a grid fill. And then rotate that till it feels about right. I think that looks well. That works well. Yeah, perfect. So I'm trying to isolate regions here to make it more, yeah, nicer. If that makes sense. Oops. What am I doing here? My bad. Z, solid. Why is it still see-through? What did I do wrong? That burst selected? I do. Idiot. Scale that up a little bit. Turn on the snapping. Now, why isn't that not working on... There we go. That should work better. So what I'm trying to do is just get the contouring to sort of fit that area here. And I'll probably do a dip myself. I'll probably sculpt that in a little bit more as well myself to get that shape going, because it's not really projecting onto there. So we'll fix that up in this fashion. So I'm going to grab this, smooth that out a little bit, turn off the snapping, and then extrude in, like not extrude, but like sort of scale on the normals here. That should help keep that dip in there. And again, if I were to smooth it out, we're getting that nice sort of effect. And I can go ahead and sculpt this too if I wanted to smooth it out and get this sort of dip in there. Not sure why it's still like stretching out a little bit, but yeah, I think that'll do it anyway. Let's deselect all that. And try and do a little custom dip. That's what I want. That looks better. Or if I go really deep, I can do that. But let's just smooth that out a little bit like so. Okay, thanks, mate. Thanks for joining. All right, cool. Let's continue on with the retopo. So we got that chest up and running. We got the back relatively easy to do. So here, the back, depending on whether or not I want to make that distinctive or not, I could have it loop like so into the back. And that would be kind of okay. It'd be an interesting loop in any regard. So basically I can go ahead and loop it this way. But the problem, of course, is that the loop will start to spiral if I'm not careful. So I just got to be very careful about that. That loop. But that's okay. I think I'll keep it there because it's quite distinctive shape. This one is it's sort of an ensemble, but he's one of the main characters for this short that I'm working on. So he will be featured a lot in it. And like my other film, it'll probably open up more questions and answers, honestly, in some regard. Because it's always fun to do that sort of thing. All right, cool. So we got that going on. Boop, boop, boop. And we can probably get this to go down this way. Well, firstly, we'll get this. The thing about living in suburbia is that there's always some noises, whether there's a dog in the background or like a car or whatever. There's always something to change the soundscape of the room. You can imagine how hard it is for me to edit videos sometimes. All right, cool. So there we go. Got that going on there. That's looking pretty cool. As for the stretching there in the neck, I'm not too concerned about that because one, it's not going to deform all that much. And I can probably just even out those verts a little bit to make it a little bit more palatable for me to use. And that works just fine. Oh, thanks for joining, Goblin. I appreciate it. Yeah, I want him to smoke as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how the smoking works too, because I want to really have it like, like just ridiculous smoking through the mask. You know what I mean? Let's have a look and see. That's looking really nice. It's looking really nice. I hope you guys are excited for this as well, because I'm pretty excited about the film as well. This one, doing this one's gonna be a lot of fun to animate, I think. All right, cool. So for this, I'll probably, let's see. Let's see where this loop is gonna go. It's gonna go that way. Okay, that's fine. For this, tempted to, yeah, I think I'll merge this and this. Or, no, I'll just extrude out. Yeah, that would make some more sense. Let's get that going on there. Define this, and this is all part of the problem solving process. Have those travel up the neck, as I would always normally do. There we go. That's nice and safe. That's a nice safe progression of shapes. And again, what I would have to do probably is either even that out. Yeah, this is the problem. All right, cool. So now I'll have to do some loops that way. Yep, that's fine. Thanks, man. Cheers. What do you recommend? Well, it depends on how far you want to take your sculpting skills. So if you want to, if you really want to increase your skills in like high definition sculpts, then there's no other option other than ZBrush, honestly. If you are just dabbling and you want to just do some basic characters like this, then you're just as good doing using Blender, in my opinion. Don't waste your money if you're not planning on doing it professionally or want to turn it into something more than just than a hobby, because ZBrush is just really expensive. But you can do like 90%, I'd say, or 80% of most models in Blender. If you want to do just ultra high definition, realistic sculpts, then yeah, it's a bit trickier doing that in Blender because of the way that Blender handles poly counts is different, and it's not as optimized for that kind of thing. All right, cool. Let's just remove one of those. Let's see what I can do here. I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to make a thing there anyway, so that will be fine. Let's remove one of these edges. And now 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and boop, 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 and then loop. 1, 2, done. Great. Now I can grab the smooth brush or the smooth tool and just smooth that out. Now we're getting some pretty nice definition there. Now you might be wondering, why is it not fully copying the topology, the mesh? It's because it's based on my snapping. So what I would do normally is just add a shrink wrap. So add a shrink wrap here, and then choose the mesh that you want to shrink wrap to. And that will kind of give you a better result, so to speak. And you can get a better idea as well by turning on in front in the viewport. So under the object settings, visibility, where's in front? It should be there. Viewport display. There we are. You get a better idea of what you're doing here. Now, what you always tend to do, I tend to do, is it tends to screw up a little bit with the mesh if you do that. So just always go ahead and smooth things out if you have to, and you'll get a better result overall. All right, cool. Let's move on. No worries. Cheers. I'm quite, yeah. I hope you guys are having fun. We've got plenty of time to go, about 45 minutes. So we've done quite a lot in that time in terms of retopo. But I want to have this guy animation ready by, yeah, like in terms of topology, animation ready by tomorrow. 1, 2. So I need to add one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And then, yep, that should link up nicely. Fill that in. Grid fill. Good. Lovely. Perfect. All right. So we're on our way. We're on our way. Have you seen of course, yeah. I did enjoy it. I prefer the first one a lot more on a story level. I feel like Spider-Verse, even just on an artistic direction level, I prefer the first one because it felt more focused. I felt like with the second film, it was almost like they were doing things just because they can, rather than like the intention behind the first one being there. This one felt a bit more like they were just, I don't know, I wouldn't call it showing off, but it's like, oh, let's just do it because we can, rather than it being like a true artistic story driven choice, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the film quite a bit. Good character moments. But it almost also felt like one half of Back to the Future 2. It's like the first half and then they cut it off halfway through. That's what it felt like a little bit too. So, like for the length of the film, I feel like they could have concluded the story within one film, but that's obvious why they split it up. It really depends on how far they take the next film. Um, what I think about it in context. So we'll see how they go with the third one. All right, cool. That's looking good. Oh, I like that loop. I like how it terminates up there. Good for that. So they're coming along pretty good. So now we're starting to pad out the chest. Trying to get those loops working. Also notice that I'm the way I'm creating loops is that I'm keeping in context where I join things together. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 1, 2 there. So one more loop there, and then a grid fill, and you're done. It should work, but I'm missing a loop here, so I need to add one more there. Grid fill done. Good morning, Sticko Media Entertainment. All right, cool. I'll have to do a little extrusion for his nipple, but I'll worry about that later. Do I have Insta or ArtStation? I do have an Instagram. It's on my, if you look at the socials at the top of my screen, that's what they are. ArtStation, yes and no, but more no than yes. Yeah, I haven't much need for ArtStation just yet, but I probably should use it more often. I do plan on using it more often soon though. Okay, so you can see here that this chest muscle is got a little bit of its own isolation going on there. So what I want to do is fill this in, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab these faces, and this is just because the character has it, not because it needs to be this way. And I'm gonna add a little bit more of a loop inset there, just cause that's kind of how the character is designed. Not because of the way, not because it's a principle or anything like that. It's just because the way the character is designed, he will look a little bit more in tune with a subdivision modifier if I were to do that. So if I was to subdivide that, you can see here that we're getting this nice breakdown of geometry. So you can see that's looking really cool. Now I have a feeling that I might still have to do a subdivision modifier when I animate this because it's looking really nice when it's like shrunk down like that. But we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and add these loops here going up the arm. I've got this nice isolation for the shoulder. I'm going to add another loop there in a second. Also, if you feel the need to say thank you, if you want to thank me for the streams or thank me for the tutorials, feel free to subscribe to my Patreon. It includes all the working files for every tutorial I make. Also, if you prefer to use YouTube memberships, please feel free to sign up there. I'll be adding some really cool stuff there in the coming weeks as I pad out the next series of tutorials. So there'll be some exclusive and also some time exclusive work coming out through there. If you feel the need to, by all means, thank you. Do I use multi-resolution modifier shrink wrap to a sculpt, or do you use a subdivision and retop and mesh? I will. Sorry. Depends on the situation. So normally, if I had to bake down some sculpt detail, I would use a multi-resolution and a shrink wrap, and then bake down the detail. But I rarely do that. I usually rely on texturing itself to get detail into the body. But or I just do a multi-res sculpt and then animate with that, and then turn it off when I don't need it. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you. Cheers. It's not too expensive. Yeah, thank you. For spruiking it, for being a little shill. Thank you. You also get Discord privileges, mind you, as well. So if you are interested in Discord, I do also you get the unlock on the private Discord server if you want to join in on the fun. Yes, that is true. Thank you, Hina. If I can make this a full-time thing, I will. If I can't, then I have to go back to doing freelancing and stuff like that. All right, cool. Let's get this loop in there. There we go. Pushing that out like that. So you're getting some interesting loops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here, what I'm going to do is cut this in to get this loop to go into its own shoulder shape. At center. So like that. Now it's going to travel all the way around the shoulder and be its own sort of shape. Same thing on this side here. I'm going to grab these corners here. All right, cool. Just like that. And we're on our way. Now you can see here that we got this problem there. Well, I'll probably end up with a triangle there, but what I can do is just split this. And now I have room to do my loops. Like that. Yeah, I have a Discord server, but it's only available through Patreon. And it doesn't matter which Patreon tier you go on, whether it's $3, $2, $3 or $5. They have the same benefits. It's just that whether or not you feel more generous to go with the $5 just to support the channel, but you get access to everything either way. All right. Cool. And the more people that join, the more interesting the conversations can be. You can share artwork. I'm thinking about doing a Halloween challenge as well. So like, I gotta put it up there. But basically, for the month of October, people can submit their sketches, and then the theme obviously being Halloween. I try and create that before Halloween. So we'll see how we go with that. All right, cool. So there we go. We've got this nice loop here for the shoulder, nicely isolated. So it's coming up really nicely. Need to add another loop here. There we go. So now I need to start to build out the shoulder here. So I'm going to go there and there and there and there, trying to avoid any extra spirals that I don't need. So I can probably delete one of these there, but we'll see. This will be a not triangle, but a quad. This is where the quad redirect will be. Like that. Do a quad redirect there as well. That'll be perfect. What's my Patreon goal anyway? That's a good point. Well, the goal would be to, if I had 1,000 subs, that's early days yet. And I've had the Patreon for 2 years, but it's just been too hard to maintain it before now. But if I had 1,000 subs, I wouldn't have to work freelance. If I had 1,000 subs, that would cover a monthly wage, basically, and help me pay the bills and have some money for family and stuff. That would be the ultimate, really, outcome. If I could do that, I'd be pretty stoked. But yeah, it really does depend on what I can and can't do. But yeah, I want to be able to include other perks as well. So the more people that get on board, the more perks I can start to offer for different tiers. So stuff like, you know, reviews or like topology reviews, stuff like that. That'd be really cool to be able to do. So if you say I made like a $10 tier, I can offer a 5 to 10 minute review of your model and do a draw over, or say, okay, this is where your issues are lying, coming from. I'd love to be able to do that sort of stuff. But yeah, it really just depends on what is tenable at this point in time. All right, cool. Shoulders are done, and if I turn on the multi-res, or the subdivision, you can see just how nice it's looking so far already. It's looking really good, really good. Let's just move this back into place. Get in there. That will fix itself later on. All right, cool. Oh, thank you, Comic Sans, as well for shilling. That'd be great. Any more raids you bring in, it's even better. All right, cool. So we're getting there. We're getting there in the end. It's looking great. I'm very happy with the results so far. So that upper body's done. This part's going to be pretty straightforward. And I'll probably do the hands depending on how much time I have off stream. Have you passed on Blender 3D software, or have I done? I would say I've been using Blender pretty much exclusively since 2016, relatively speaking. I was teaching myself it from quite early on as well, like say 2014, 2015, because I was trying to make my short film a thing without relying on Maya. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I plan on streaming every day, like at least 3 days a week. My wife actually might be going back to work in a few weeks or in a week or two, so the streams might end up being in the evenings as well. So that's good for you guys overseas in America, because I won't be able to do the stream if my kid is awake. So the idea is that I'd be doing my streams from probably midnight. Actually, I know I didn't want to do that, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So if you guys prefer me doing my stream at midnight for about an hour or so, or 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. probably be the case, or 10 p.m. to midnight would probably be the best way of doing it. That would probably hit the American time zone okay. Might be a bit early for you guys, but yeah, for Europe though, it'd be great. All right, cool. So we got that going on there. Let's get this torso done. Now this one's going to be a little bit different for the back, because I want to get that loop going in there quite nicely. So rather than it going down through the arms, what I'm going to try and do is I'll extrude this one, and then try and get this loop to sort of travel inwards like this. Now this is always what fucks me when it comes to retopo is the back, because normally I don't need to worry about it, but with the back, it can be quite. You can really screw with your edge flow, in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do is do a loop like that. Add a few loops this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. But yeah, I do plan on streaming regularly. Just to reiterate that's the plan. Yeah, cool. Well, you hope that I would hope that I'd be able to stream if I stream in the evenings. It'd be great for everyone, like better overall for most people. So we'll see. Yeah. So if I did a $25 tier, I'd definitely be able to do those reviews, but I'd limit the amount of patrons that can sign up for that. So maybe like 15, just to make sure I'm not missing out on anyone. 15 people on a $25 tier, maybe more. Because if I do that, then I'd be basically full time doing reviews on people's work. Because it does take a while to go through some stuff sometimes. But yeah, it'd be like a temporary $25 tier, and then it sort of refresh after 2 months. Cool. Let's see how we can loop these. I'm going to loop this to there, and then add this here, and that will give us the detail we need for the back. So if we now turn that off, we get that nice definition there in the back there, and that looks really cool. Looks super cool. Wow, nice. Really happy with that. Yeah, let's turn off the subdivision now and get back to it. So now we got to go ahead and fill this in. 1, 2, 3. Cool. And now we can start to sort of bring this around here. So doing extrusion this way. And these will all extrude this way, by the way. 1, 2, 3, just like that. All right, cool. Just like this, we'll get this going on over here. And we got ourselves a pretty cool loop for the chest. Now, the nice thing about this loop going like this is why I want to do it, is that it will come down from the spine and then sort of terminate in the middle of the body rather than traveling all the way. If I had legs, it would travel all the way through the legs and it would add so much unnecessary topology. So this way is a little bit more effective in that regard for doing that. You get this nice clean termination and it's not spiraling too much. All right, our little one is just woken up. Just give me 1 second. I'll be back. All right, back to it. All right, cool. So we have about half an hour to go. So I think we've done really well so far with the retopo. What do you guys think? coming up pretty good. And we're getting some really good definition into the body there. What do your eyes reckon? Looking really slick, huh? But yeah, this is all just from like problem solving and logic and all those kind of things. And I can't wait to texture this guy. I can't wait to texture this guy. Normally I hate texturing, but I can't wait to try texturing this guy. All right, cool. Now, if you also sign up to Patreon, by the way, if you guys didn't know, you can actually download the entirety of the working files of Black Curtain, at least the first one. Yeah, it does take time. All good things take time. Just keep that in mind. All good things take time. And also consider that this, when you think about it, is only 2 hours of my time so far to do this and do it properly. That it is totally worth doing it properly as well. All right. I've got 2 deliveries coming in today. All right. 1 tablet and 1 3D scanner. Got some cool reviews coming through. Okay. Cool reviews. So yeah, keep an eye out on these reviews. And if you guys are excited, I'm gonna make some really interesting stuff with these things as well. All right. Oh, thank you for joining, Emilian, as well. Appreciate that. Very much so. Really appreciate that. Join in on the Discord as soon as you can and start sharing some stuff. I'm also going to be uploading the entirety of my new tutorial series on Patreon as well. There'll be some extra stuff that will come. I'm still figuring out how to distribute that one. But yeah, there's some other extra stuff that will be coming from that as well. All right, cool. Let's link things up here. I'm going to add a loop here and add a loop here. And then I can add a grid fill there. Why not? I add grid fill there, grid fill there. There we go. Now we can add a grid fill. $30,000 mocap suit. Well, I would love to. If I can get like a full studio going on, that'd be awesome. Just for doing fun films. Oh, thank you very much, Emilian. I really appreciate it. And yeah, even if you guys post stuff on the Discord and ask questions, there's a help me sort of page. If you have any questions and send some screenshots, I always try to respond in time and give some notes on, stuff like, things that can help you fix things a little bit quicker. All right, cool. So we got this issue here of an extra loop there. So what I might do, I might just remove this for now and just place this here, because this part of the back is not all that interesting in terms of geometry. So, and it's going to be covered in the shirt, I think. So I don't really need to worry about too much geometry there for now. And I can always pull this way. All right, cool. All right. Let's add a loop here. 1, 2, 3. Like so. Now, let's have a see and let's have a little inspection here. So what we can do to link this up, we've got 2 edges there that are traveling this way. This edges could be going out that way maybe, but I probably want them to go this way. So I'm going to add a loop this one. So I'm going to try and add some loops this way. I'm not going to add extra loops this way because it's going to travel up the neck and it's going to create spirals. See how it's creating this spiral? I don't want that. I need to create the loops inside there. All right. And then redistribute like here. Always be mindful of where you're placing your new loops. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I know how to use them too. So if I could get like an optical one, it'd be amazing. But that's not going to happen. I would love to be able to do some reviews on some things like Rococo, for instance, but I need to be able to afford it as well. So we'll see. One day, maybe. All right, cool. So here, this loop can actually keep on going up there. It doesn't make much difference. But what I can do for now is I'll do two. So actually, no. Let's add another loop here. This will solve the problem. 1, 2, 3. Merge. And then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Done. Cool. Perfect. And that gives us enough geometry for the upper body as well for just deformation. Like that. Awesome. Really happy with that. That's looking really cool. Yeah, AI can now help. It's true, but it's not perfect, and there are limitations as well. And the thing is, the problem with AI stuff is that you can't do it in real time. Not yet, at least. Like you'd love to be able to just real time mocap, whereas stuff like Rococo and regular. This is looking really cool, by the way. Check that out. That looks super cool. Like optical mocap suits is that you get real time feedback, and you can actually integrate straight into Unreal Engine. Whereas with an AI system, you have to actually upload the video, it has to be analyzed, and then it has to shit out a decent animation. So the actual time it takes to get that data back, and whether or not it's good, is really up in the air. So that's another thing to keep in mind when it comes to AI stuff. But for the individual filmmaker, it's perfect. All right, adding a few more loops this way. And also note that you don't have to have super isolated loops for certain things like certain muscle groups, because with the right kind of texturing and the right kind of information, you can get some really amazing definition in basic topology like this, and then texture it down. Yeah, it's so cool, huh? Love it. How cool is that? And that's with the this subdivision turned on. It's super cool. I really like that. The only problem, of course, is that you're starting to get a little bit of too much detail there. So you have to actually be mindful of the geometry causing these sort of artifacts. But it's looking really cool. All right, cool. All right, let's keep on going. We're almost done with the torso, and I don't have to go that far back. I'm just going to go like this for the torso. I'm just going to do the hips like this, going into the hips. And I want to keep that definition there because he's I think his hips are prominent in the clothing. No, maybe not. But I will do it just in case I bring down the thing. The pros and cons of working with subdivision versus multi-res. With multi-res, you can sculpt on it, for one. That's a pro. It's a little bit more efficient for baking. So you can actually bake down height data with a multi-res, whereas I don't know if with a subdivision if it's as effective. A subdivision is just really there for just iterative smoothing. So you can smooth things relatively easily and turn it off without affecting the rig. Whereas with multi-res, there are limitations, at least in Blender, in the sense that it can lead to issues where you can't stack modifiers on top of each other the same way you can with subdivision surfaces. With subdivision surfaces, you can basically stack all kinds of in any order, whereas with multi-res, you're kind of limited, which sucks. Yeah, you gotta like be careful with the baking, and also baking with Blender is also kind of shit. So finding a plugin add-on for baking always makes it easier with Blender. All right, that's as far as I'm gonna go with the retopo there. I'm not going to actually do the full-on hole there. The only thing I'll do is I'll add a loop here, which would, you know, if I did have to add legs, I know where the loop would go. So in the future, he may end up having different pants or different legs. So I'll add that loop there for any future episodes that may feature him without the mask and without the clothing that he has now. But yeah, that's more of a sort of future proofing the model for my own purposes. Yes, the subdivision is that it's costly on a performance level in Blender. Those hips don't lie. That is true. Yeah, they're very bony hips though. Very bony. All right, cool. So what I'm gonna do is a redirect. So I'm gonna grab this up like this and create a 5 pole there. And that will just help me isolate the abs from the rest of the body. All right, cool. So this can join up. I reckon this can join up here. Yep. Add a loop there, loop here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Like this, like this. All right, like this. And then we turn on the shrink wrap. Look at that. That looks so nice. They're hiding a knife or a gun. That is true. But yeah, that's looking really nice. What do you guys think? Super, super cool. Love it. So you can see here, here's an advantage here of using a multi-res. Okay, so you can see here that the eyes and the mouth are suffering from this issue here, where the density of the detail from the sculpt isn't high enough or smooth enough. They start getting these artifacts. Now, once I finish retopoing this, what I can do is do the multi-res, then a shrink wrap, or you do then a shrink wrap, and then you can smooth out that after you've completed the shrink wrap. So that's the other reason why that comes in handy. Okay. All right, cool. So for instance, if I had I did a subdivision now, right? And I add a shrink, I did a multi-res. The only problem is that the multi-res, see how it doesn't let you go beyond the top rank? Yeah, I'd have to wait until I finish retopoing before I can use the multi-res. With subdivision, I can use it anytime I want. Okay. The legs. I'm not going to do the legs because it's covered by the clothes. So the clothes are covering up everything. So I'm not going to bother with that. That being said, it could be useful to have legs for a collision in the future. So, and that's another thing to take into consideration. If the legs aren't working, if the cloth sim doesn't work, then I'll add some legs as a collision point. All right, cool. Making good progress. We can go for another probably 10 minutes or so today before I have to wrap it up. But yeah, all good. Let's grab this and add a few loops. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just keep it simple. 3. And start to fill this out. And that's looking pretty good. Yep, looking great. And of course, we've got this loop here. It's going up the body. And, that's interesting. Actually, because it's got this nice little loop going on here, I might do 4 and do a triangle there. That actually would be really good. So, not triangle, but like a redirect. 1, 2, 3. And then basically I would do this. Yeah, that could work. So I'm going to do this. Oops. Fill. Subdivide. Yep, perfect. 1, 2. 1, 2. So now I've got this really cool little loop that's going around the spine. That's awesome. I have a project on hold. I want to start pushing projects toward the end of the year, but I can finally finish it. Hopefully I can get some help notes. Yeah, for sure. Especially when it comes to scope. Keep your scope real simple for your first film. Like, don't go 10 minutes or 15 minutes with your film. Go with like 3 or 2 minutes or even 1 minute when it comes to making your first one. Because that way you learn a lot more, and you don't have to worry about the scope destroying your motivation. All right, cool. So we're almost done here with the retopo on the bottom part of the body. Got a bunch of edges there. That's okay. We can live. 1, 2, and then 3. Let's kill off this edge here. 1, 2, and then redirect. 3. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, throw your ideas up on the Discord as well. It'd be awesome to hear them. That's a nice loop. I like that. That's so good. That's actually going to work really well. And if I can make that loop, yeah, that's going to be that's a nice little loop. I like that loop. I could probably make it go this way as well and close it off, but we'll see. Depends on what you're planning on doing in terms of rebuilding stuff. All right, cool. Turn on that shrink wrap and look at that, looking really nice. So now the tricky part is with the arms. The arms are going to be kind of tricky because I want to do some isolation loops as well, going down that way. So firstly, before we wrap up, I'm going to go ahead and just extrude this out, this out, this out, until we get a nice circular loop in the arms. So I got these loops here. One loop that will go around the arms, and this loop will also go around the arms. Okay, so let's make sure that they stay that way. They don't spiral. All right. All right, cool. So there we go. Those are nice and cleanly isolated. Perfect. Now we can do our extrusion down the arm. Now, as for the kind of detail I want to kind of really define the arms here. So what I can do is I'm going to do a loop that goes down the middle of the arm. Now, I haven't done this in a long time, or ever really, and define the bicep. So this is something that I haven't done ever really, but the only reason I'm doing it is because I really want to define certain regions of the bicep. So I'm gonna have them sort of cross over. Like this. Now this is completely circumstantial. Where do you make loops? Where are the most important locations? That is a good question. I will be posting a very important video in about a week or two about that. I can't go into too detail right now because I only got a few minutes on the stream left to go. But suffice it to say, I will be creating a very, very, very detailed video about where important loops can go. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Okay, why is it projecting the wrong way? Because it just wants to be silly. Let's just put that there for now. There we go. All right, cool. So let's try and get this working. I'm not sure if it's going to work very well, but basically this is going to go out like this, and then we'll merge with that face there. Like that. Where do I bake it? Bake it. I bake it in Blender. If I'm baking any, if I bake any textures, I bake them in Blender, but I use a plugin called Simple Bake. It's my favorite plugin for baking textures. All right, cool. So that loop is working quite nicely. So the easiest one to start working on in terms of loops here is this one here. And now I can start to figure out how much geometry I'm working with here. So I'm going to need more geometry for one. So keeping that in mind, I need more geometry. Now this loop, I know now, at least I want to keep it not spiraling through the mesh. So I'll worry about that. Have I ever printed any of my 3D characters? No, I haven't. Although I'd really like to. It's hard with 3D characters, 3D print, doing characters to a 3D print, because it's a different kind of modeling technique that you need to do to make it work. And it's usually just means sculpting them, because you need to make sure they're manifold. All right, cool. This is like coming up really nice. I'm really liking this. So here we go. Now I'm hoping that maybe at the end of the week I'll have a recording done for this thing. No worries, have a good one. I'm going to be wrapping up soon anyway, so thanks for joining. I appreciate the join on Patreon. And yeah, I'll catch you in next stream, hopefully. That's too many loops. All right, cool. Fill that in. Okay, we're getting there. Oops, let's grab this loop and fix that up. And we'll have to manually fix those up a little bit, I think. There we go. Something like that. No worries, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, a few more minutes to go, and then we can wrap it up. It's been a very good stream this morning, so thanks for everyone for joining in, asking all these cool questions. It's really cool to see. And yeah, keep on coming through and joining in, because I want to do this more often. Thanks for the subscription on YouTube, Anus Productions Entertainment. That's a good way to end it. I look forward to seeing that on a Hollywood movie credit. All right. So this little part here is the tricky part. Now, you'd be surprised what you can do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and extrude this out like this. Link this one here. Link this one here. Link this one here. And we'll probably end up having to make some sort of fancy loop here. I think I know what to do here. Yeah, I got an idea. We'll worry about that next. I'll show you the final result tomorrow morning, because I really want to have this ready for texturing tomorrow. But that's looking really cool. Really like that. And yeah, looking schmick. All right, we're gonna keep it at there. Thank you for joining. It's been awesome. And yeah, next stream, some texturing, hopefully. Some really cool texturing. And that will be like a full body texturing as well in Substance Painter. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Cheers, Comet Sands. Thank you.